So if you're having a bit of trouble keeping it off the tile, as I am here, a trick you can do is take a wet rag. Not too long after you put it down, maybe wait like 5 minutes after you're done putting it down. Just kind of come back and gently wipe and press down towards the floor. And you can see this paintable caulk will actually clean up pretty good. So don't sweat it too badly if you're having an issue with it getting on the tile. I haven't figured out how to keep it out of the grout a little bit, but that's not too bad looking. I'm not too worried about that. So next you're gonna fill the nail holes with a little spackling. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. To fill the nail holes and to fill the gap here in this joint is pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna take a little bit of joint compound here, get it on a putty knife, and just kind of squeeze it right into the joint. I don't want to leave any excess joint compound anywhere, so I'm going to do my best to kind of squeeze it in there and also kind of use it like a squeegee to get it back out, because I just want to fill that gap. This joint compound is kind of runny, making it a little bit difficult. But the nail holes, same thing, just kind of push a little joint compound in and rub the excess away, just as if you were filling a hole in drywall. I don't know why this joint compound is so runny, but you don't want to leave all of that there for sure. And you see that's actually kind of a low spot still on this side right here. You see that? So I'm going to leave a little bit there as well. But the better you clean this up, the less sanding you'll have to do later. And so I'm going to go do that with all of my nail holes and everything. Get this all filled in, give it some time to dry. All right, so I've let this dry overnight. And what I'm going to do now is come back. I've got my putty knife and a sanding block. And I'm going to use the sanding block on the flat surfaces that are kind of in the middle here, like this. I'm just going to ever so slightly just kind of remove some of the excess of the joint compound. Sorry, I was like getting focused on the sanding and not what I was talking about. The same thing over the nail holes. You just kind of want to remove that top layer. Just give it a few strokes. I've got some nice 60 grit sandpaper here, so it's going to work really quickly. I'm going to do the same thing right here. Just kind of give this a quick little sand. Make sure I'm not tearing up my paint on my wall. I came back and painted the walls yesterday too. I'm going to give it a quick light little sanding just to smooth everything out. Using my sanding block. Then again, this is where I'm going to start using my putty knife. There's these little spots here where I've got stuff down on the little grooves. And again, I'm not going to sand much. I just want to remove the excess that's there. Make sure I'm wiping it off. Make sure I'm getting everything. So there we go. You see that's looking pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is just go around to all my nail holes where I filled everything. Use the sanding block and just kind of block it down real quick and get it nice and smooth. And then I'll be ready for paint after I tape it off. So after you're done sanding, take a vacuum, make sure you get all the sanding dust out of the way. And the next thing you're going to do is tape everything off, get it ready for paint. So I'm going to take some of this blue painter's tape here. What you want to do is lay a strip down by the tile. Just kind of press it down on the edge right there. Then you take another strip and run it on the wall. I painted this wall yesterday, so I definitely want to keep any white paint off of there. Same deal, push it down on the edge. And go ahead and do the whole room like that. So now you've got everything taped up, the obvious next step is to paint. I like to use the Bare Ultra Pure White just because I like the nice bright whiteness that comes off of it. It really contrasts the wall really well. I just like it. No, Bare did not pay me to say that. I'm not getting any promotional consideration or anything like that from them. That's just what I like, so that's what I'm using here. So this is pretty straightforward as far as painting goes. Just you don't want to glob too much paint on the surface. Just kind of want to get a nice even coverage all the way around the baseboard. You're going to need more than one coat, probably at least 2 coats, I would say. But I'll start out on one side of the room, make my way around the room. By the time I get to the other side, it'll most likely be ready for the second coat. That's usually how it works when I've done this in the past. Another thing I like to do is once I have the coverage, you see I'm kind of putting it on kind of sloppily just to get everything covered. But then what I'll do is I'll come back and just give it one pull like this, just to kind of smooth everything out. So I've got a nice even brush stroke. And I'll continue to do that all the way, again, around the room. Okay, so I've got 2 coats of the Ultra Pure White on here. I don't know if you can see, but the color is not quite 100% consistent yet. You can see right here, it's kind of not all there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it one more coat for good measure, but it's looking pretty good at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead, go around, do one more coat, get it looking really good. Okay, after 3 coats, it looks like we have a nice consistent color. So this is a good time to go clean your paintbrush. Give this just a few minutes to set up.